Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. Now I know it's seriously been a minute. Actually, I think since sorry about that, y'all. Since my If Loving You Is Wrong review. So this will be my first time reviewing the Haves and Have-Nots, but I've been watching since episode 1, season 1, so I know a little bit about the show. Let's get into it. Okay, so we open up with Maggie. This is where we left up last season. We know Veronica set the whole thing up for Maggie to come to the door, the little shooter at the door. Okay, Maggie opens up the door. Bam, the shooter's there. Maggie gets shot at least, I think, 5 times at the very least. Okay, so Maggie, as far as we know, is dead. She was in a... I don't want to reveal too much right now. Okay, so the shooter shoots her, alright, and tries to run. Okay, the officer's outside, because remember, we had Veronica outside talking to the officer, you know, trying to have an alibi and whatnot. You know, how she called them the whole fake whatever. So, okay, the officer sees the dude trying to run. So he shoots the dude. He grabs Veronica, gets her behind the car. She's crying. She's like, oh my God, it's my friend Maggie. Oh my God. And she's just faking it, everybody. I can't stand her. So then the officer starts shooting, and Horse, I think that was the shooter they hired, he starts trying to shoot back. Nah, the officer got him. Okay, so the shooter is down. So, of course, officer's calling in, blah, 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 you know, get down here now. Here go Veronica. Oh, my friend Maggie. And she's got a freaking smirk on her face. You know what? Her and Candace at this moment are working my nerve. Oh, not much different than usual. Okay, but Candace is on my nerve a little bit more than usual tonight, y'all. She really was. Okay, so then it cuts to commercial right there, alright? Actually, they did a little theme song, and then they cut to commercial. Okay, so then we switch to Candace's house. Candace is asking Jeff, they're panicking, because you remember the luminol. So Candace is asking Jeffrey, okay, how did she know? How could she possibly know? I don't know. Did you say anything? Nah. Candace asking Jeffrey, yo, did you tell Wyatt? No, I didn't tell Wyatt. Okay, well, who did you tell, Jeffrey? He tells her to go to H-double hockey stick. She's like, I'm already there. He's like, okay, well, you could have saved me the ticket and not brought me along with you. She like, I didn't put the knife in your hand. He's like, well, you might as well have because, you know, whatever. And she was like, if your mom is the one who got him out of jail, you blame her. You don't blame me because this ain't my fault. Okay, if you want somebody to blame, you blame her. Okay, so just going back and forth. How could she possibly know? How could she possibly know? I can't, y'all. Let me see. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Okay, so then, but Jeffrey tries to switch it up on her. Okay, but at first he's just like, I can't take this, it's too much. And then he's like, wait a minute, what about your brother? So she's kind of like, what about my brother? And she's like, he don't even know her. You know, she bailed him out of jail one time. He was like, no, Candace, they're sleeping together. Okay, my brother, no, your brother, my mom, they're getting together. All right, so she's like, no. Stop, Jeffrey, like, you're making me sick. Pretty much, he's like, I had the video to show you. And she looking at Jeffrey like he a pervert, a creep, and all of it. He should have just been like, okay, Wyatt was there, and he told me he was going to email me the video. So that must have been what happened, y'all, because remember, Wyatt, old dumb self. Okay, we don't want him dead, but some of y'all might. I don't know. Okay. Anyway. Alright. So, and did y'all think, hold on, let me just say this, because I didn't think we had to choose one to come back, because I was going through Facebook, I don't know, like a couple days ago, and it said, Maggie and Wyatt, only one of them can return, who will it be? And I was like, really? I didn't think about it. I didn't think, oh my God, one of them has to go. But I guess I should have expected that, okay, due to Tyler. You guys knew, the lawyers are telling me they knew. Okay, so I'm just behind on my own, I guess. Okay. Anyway, so she's like, Jeffrey, that's disgusting. He's like, okay, I'm telling you though. He was like, as soon as I get my phone backed up, I'm gonna show you. She's like, okay, but until then, that's what you're gonna have to do, because I don't believe you, pretty much. So in the meantime, who did you tell? He's like, Candace, I didn't tell anybody. So he's like, so she's like, how could she know? How could she know? He's like, I don't know, Candace. Like, she just knows things. She knows things, pretty much. So she's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know what to do. So she's like, okay, well, you need to find out. You need to go after her. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. He's like, I'm not going back. I can't go back to Melissa. I'm not going back to her. So she's like, okay, Jeffrey, this is our freedom. He's like, I'm not going back. She's like, okay, fine. Then I guess we'll both go to jail. So he's like, weren't you the one who tried to tell me to break free of my mom in the first place? So she's sitting up there kind of like, okay, yeah, but, you know, And he was like, oh, wait a minute, but when it concerns you, when she's got her hooks in you, then it's different, right? She's like, no, listen, I'm not telling you to stay with Melissa. I'm just telling you to go over there, see what she knows, how she knows it, and then we'll figure it out from there. He's like, and then what? He's like, I'm not going back to her. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, that's not going to happen. You know, and he's telling her, he's like, it just won't work. So she's like, all right, then, I mean, what do you want to do? You feel me? What do you want to do? So right now, so then he goes, I can't go back. And he pauses. He's like, oh no, my keys. What about she tracked my keys? She goes, no, that still doesn't make any sense. How would she know the stain is right here? He's like, I don't know, Candace, but she's definitely going to track my keys. And if she hasn't, then she will. We need to get those keys. She's like, no, I'm not digging anywhere to get no keys. She's like, I can't. And this was kind of like Candace kind of witching out on us. Because usually she's telling Jeffrey, okay, Jeffrey, you need to man up. You need to come on. Okay, like, I get it. I wouldn't want to do it. But Candace is usually the one who's always just like, you know what, Jeffrey, give me the shovel. So I was a little kind of like, okay, well, she's like, I can't do it. He's like, she goes, no, you need to do it. He's like, I can't do it. She's like, okay, well, me neither. And he's like, all right. I'm just trying to, he's just like, look, okay, the last car I had was in my mom's name. This car is in my dad's name. Either way, she can get the information to track my keys. And she's just like, okay, well, none of us are going to do it. What's going to happen is you have to make sure she doesn't know that you went to the dealership to get a whole new set of keys. Okay, but I want to go back to the beginning, because in the beginning of the scene, Candace, here goes Jeffrey, he's panicking. He's like, didn't you clean it up? She's like, yeah. So then he's like, the bleach didn't. She's like, yeah, and I bleached it too. He's like, if that didn't get it out? She's like, apparently not good enough. And then so he's asking, he's like, well, how does she know the stain is right here? And, you know. So then he's like, this is how she is, Candace. I'm going back to this. She's controlling. She controls things. Okay. So that's just how. So Jeffrey is really the one. And Jeffrey had his little moment where he was going off on Candace. They was both kind of actually going on each other. So it is what it is. So then she's like, okay, but how? So again, Candace is like, okay, but how could she know? And he's like, listen, Candace. First of all, my mom when she was a litigator, she was one of the best. And then she was a prosecutor. She was one of the best. And then she was a defense attorney. She was one of the best. Do you see where I'm going here, Candace? And she's like, okay, I get it. Oh, I get it. He's like, she's always calculating, always. If a blade of grass is leaning to the left, she wants to know why it is not leaning to the right. And she will not stop until she gets that answer. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Okay, Jeffrey, I get it. You feel me? And so then she goes, she's not gonna stop till she gets the desired explanation. Not just the desired explanation. Alright. So then he's like, you know what? I wish I was as cunning and conniving and as wicked as you and my mom and Wyatt. And I think he named somebody else, because he was like, because then I'd be one step ahead of all of you. And then I wouldn't have to be in this situation. And he's crying. That actor, Gavin Houston, you better go. Alright. That was everything. And every time that character cries, I almost feel myself about to. He's just like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of being stuck in this trap. I'm tired of it. So Candace is trying to calm him down. Listen, shh, it's okay. She goes, that's enough. He goes, no, Candace, it's not enough. It's not enough, Candace. It's not enough. Okay, stop. Calm down. She goes over to him. You know, she's just calming him down. She goes, stop. So at this point, she's kind of giving him a little embrace. And she's like, what do you think she'll do? And he goes, as much as she hates me, anything. And she's kind of trying to make him feel better. Okay, well, she hates me too. He goes, not as much as she hates me. And this is where she was really hugging him. And I appreciated this scene because I like them. I like their friendship. Although it's not typical. It's not your typical friendship. I like, and I really hope this doesn't ruin the friendship. I only hope that it brings them closer. Like, okay, we need to stick together. And you know, you guys, what I really don't understand is with Veronica, she's a common enemy. Don't nobody really like Veronica. I'm sure you can go around the state of Georgia. They're in Savannah, Georgia. I'm sure you can go around that state and find more people that don't like her and devise a plan. That's what Jeffrey should be doing. Stop getting pissed at Melissa. Because at the end of the day, Melissa's doing what she needs to do to protect her family. Veronica said, if you don't get my son to marry you and this, that, I'm going to get your house foreclosed on and your father will die because he will not get his meds. She's ruthless. So what he needs to be doing, instead of getting mad at her, okay, look, this is what we need to do. We need to fake like we're engaged because that's what my mom wants right now. Until we come up with a plan, we need to be calling everybody who got a problem with her and see what we could all stir up together. Okay, and I'm surprised Candace is not thinking of this. Okay, well, let's think about this right now. Don't nobody really like your mama. Okay, so I'm sure we can call up some people and get some kind of plan going on. You feel me? Oh my gosh. Okay. Then we switch to the Sarandon. Okay, we got the head of security who called like the head of security. And cause you remember Wyatt knocked out on drugs, so dude takes his pulse. He's dead. Call the police. He goes, okay, he's like, these dang junkies always trying to ruin the reputation of this hotel. And then it was kind of like a silent thing, and then I believe it went to commercial. Okay, so then we switch back to Candace's. Okay, she gets a call. It's from the banker, Lloyd Bowman, you know, the guy who was talking to Jim. Okay, so he says, and by the way, I want to say this is I believe this is season 4, episode 12, but I might put season 5, episode 1. I'm going to see what everybody else is putting just so there's no confusion going on. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Sorry. Okay, so he goes, so Lloyd is on the phone with her because at first she didn't know who it was. So he's like, Lloyd Bowman, you know, the loan banker or whatever. So then she's like, oh, okay, hi. He's like, okay, so we spoke to the board and we can get you the money very soon. She's like, in 2 days? He's like, yes, ma'am, we're doing everything we could possibly do. She's like, okay, great, thanks. And so she hangs up the phone. Now, I don't know why she called Warlock. I will admit that. I don't know why. Because, no, okay, she called him to tell him I'm going to have the money in 2 days. But why would you call I don't understand that. You could have just texted him. Because I would have already knew, like, I'm not really trying to deal with him. He's always got something extra to say. Not extra because I get Warlock, but forget him tonight. I've been over Warlock since every time he sees her, he's trying to fill her up or trying to get her to do something. But tonight was really the end of war for me. Like, I can't. Okay, the actor is cool, but I can't with that character any longer. Alright. So she calls War up, yo, I'm going to have your money in 2 days. No, I think she was just like, I'm going to have your money. Because I don't understand what he was confused about. Because then he was like, I don't want to talk over the phone. Meet me over at Benny's. Benny's so, yo, War. She's like, War. He's like, you heard me. Hangs up the phone. Alright. Then we switch to Jim. He's sitting with the banker, Lloyd Bowman. He got off the phone with somebody. He's like, it's done. Jim is like, great. Okay. Make sure take everything she's got. The tow yard, the house. And make sure in 14 days chains, everything is foreclosed on. So he's like, okay, Jim, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm sure. So then Lloyd's like, all right, I'm about to get up out of here. And then he goes, I'll see you. And Jim's like, go on and say it. And Lloyd's like, I'll see you soon. He was like, yes, you will, because I'm getting out. I'm over it. And then he calls up the guard and kind of lets him know he's ready. So the guard comes, takes him, and he's out. Okay, so then we switch to Hannah. Now, she's at the bus stop. Benny shows up to talk to her. She's kind of sitting there, I think, still in shock. Well, she kind of said that, you know, he's talking to her. He was like, you know, you missed the last bus about an hour ago, and you're probably too proud to let me take you home. And so he's kind of just rambling on, like, oh, I bet you forgot my house is at the end of the corner, and, you know. So then she's just like, she hit me, Benny. He goes, you hit her first. She goes, is that an excuse? He's like, no, she was wrong. She goes, no. He goes, no, you're her mother. And then she's like, thank you. And he's like, you're both wrong. And so she kind of gives him a look. And he's like, all right, but she shouldn't have hit you, you know, all this, that. And she's like, okay, Benny, so are you really trying to sue those people? And he's like, Mom, I'll do what you want me to do. She goes, no, but what do you want to do? He's like, I want to sue them because of all the lies they told and all the pain they put you through. She's like, Benny, you know, I didn't raise you like this. I raised you. He was like, you raised me to give us mine. She goes, no, I raised you and what's fair is fair. And you earn what you want and what you need. And then and she's like, and you know that. And I taught Candace the same thing. No, my bad, y'all. He goes, you taught Candace the same thing. She goes, yup, but she'd rather steal than to earn and get it the right way. And he's like, look, Mom, she's like, no, Benny, look, all right. And no, he's like, suing isn't stealing, Mom. And she goes, yes, it is, especially when they've already paid you what they needed to pay. She goes, and they paid Benjamin. They have paid. And he goes, why are you so concerned about their money? She goes, I'm not. Here's what I'm going to say. She goes, when I found out that Wyatt hit you, when I thought he did, I didn't go tell the police on Wyatt because of what I did to your uncle. Remember last season she told the story about her uncle? She thought he was guilty, but really he was getting a TV back from somebody who stole the TV from his boss. He was trying to return it. So she's like, oh, what I did to your uncle, I didn't want to do that to somebody. I had to be absolutely sure. And let me tell you, on my way to finding the truth, I've seen this family go through heck and back. Like they are torn down as a unit. She said, I've experienced all that. So just earn what you want, Benny. You have the tow yard and you have the house. That's a gift. Just keep that and keep it moving. So he's like, all right, Mom. I'm not gonna swim. She's like, really? He goes, yeah. She goes, well, good. You know. And so then he's like, under one condition. She goes, it don't work like that, Benjamin. And he's like, so you don't even want to hear, but we already knew. And he goes, you have to move in with me. And she's like, Benny, I still don't like how your sister got that house. And he's like, okay, then I'll sue them and I'll get you your own house. Or I won't, and you can come stay with me. And then she goes, Benny, he goes, what? She goes, I need you to take me back to your sister's house. He goes, Mama. She's like, I gotta ask her for that baby one more time. I gotta ask her for Quincy Jr. He's like, Mom, you know she not gonna give you the baby. You know this. She's like, okay, well then you ask her. She'll give him to you. He's like, Mom, I can't raise him. She's like, but she'll give him to you. Kind of saying like, just take him and then give him to me. You feel me? So he's like, okay, here's what she was like, I'll wait outside in the truck. You know, she's like, he's like, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll drop you off at my house and I'll come back and I'll talk to her. Okay? And she agrees, and I guess he drops her off at the house, and that's how that went down. Alright. Alright, y'all. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little... I didn't appreciate it. Alright. So, then we switch back to Veronica's. Now, we see David. David pulls up at the house. David is kind of distraught. He looks, all he sees is 2 body bags. Alright. So, of course, he assumed, okay, one of these got to be myself. He's like, my wife. And he drives off, and we already knew where David was going. Okay. Then we switch to Mitch at the tow yard. Okay. And he's got some girl in the back of a truck. And she's like, I thought you said this was your place, but why is it called Benny's Towing? And he goes, okay, it's not my place, but I'm a silent partner. And she's like, you're so full of garbage or whatever. And he's like, am I really? And they just start kissing. And then she's like, when can I get my truck? And he's like, it depends on when we get done with this. And whoop-de-woo. They're kissing. Okay, he hears a car pull up. He's like, shh. So they're kind of ducking down, whatever. It's Warlock. Okay, who's pulling up behind them? Candace. All right. So Candace get out the car. See Warlock, oh, where's my money? She's like, I'll have it to you in 2 days. He was like, you made me get out my sleep and you don't even got my money. She's like, no, I'll have it in 2 days. So then he's just like, I can't believe you would do this. And he was like, I got you. No, first he's like, you're playing me. He's like, she goes, no, I'm not. I got a loan. Okay, a loan. He's like, what kind of loan did you get? She just goes, a loan. All right. He goes, no loan. He was like, you gonna get a loan in 2 days? He was like, that don't even sound right. They don't do that for nobody. She's like, well, they're doing it for me. He was like, you playing? She's like, no, I'm not. He's like, I can't believe that you would do this. And he's like, every time I think about it. And he's literally going like we really see Warlock is like, you know. So he's like, every time I think about it, you told me you had $400,000 after you had $4 million. He still don't know the actual price, y'all. $7.4 million. I hope for Candace's sake he don't find out about that. Alright. So then he's like, you know, what did he say? Because that was really... He was like, and now you out here looking like one of the... He was like, look at you. You look like one of those crackheads out on the street begging for a rock. And at one point he was like, you got me out here treating you like one of these little hookers out here who messing with my money. And she acting like, dang. And he's like, you lost all dignity for me. You ain't nothing. And she's like, well, I'm trying to redeem myself. Like, this is the first time it kind of looked like she was not surprised. Like, she was surprised by what... Because everything else he's been saying, she's kind of like, I'm not surprised he's saying this to me. But this was... She kind of looked at him like, I'm really trying to redeem myself. And he was like, how? He was like, I got you a federal judge. A federal judge. And you will betray me like that? He's like, don't do it, or don't do it. I guess he was going to cry or something, because he goes, you know how many times I cried in my life, Candy? Huh? And so she goes, he's just like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? And she goes, well, please. He's like, don't say you're sorry. She's like, I'm not. He goes, you've learned? She goes, yes, I have. All right. He goes, now you got me thinking about back in the day when me, you, and Benny, we were all kids. And she's like, look, I know, and I brought that up because I don't want you to hurt Benny. Look, I'm going to get the money. All right, I'm going to get the money. He's like, all right, good, because I don't want to hurt Benny. That's my boy. I really don't want to hurt him. He was like, but so is my pops. She goes, I know. He goes, but he crossed me. And you know what I did to him? She's like, yeah, we all know. He's like, yet you keep saying you know, yet you still did that to me. I couldn't do it, y'all. Then he goes, okay, you better have my money 2 days. She's like, all right. Then gonna say what you got under there. Now, honestly, I don't understand why Candace came dressed like you couldn't have wore the outfit you had on before. Or pants. Like, you didn't think that was a good... I don't understand that. I'm trying to say she didn't have time. I don't know if I buy that. Maybe she was lying. Maybe she wasn't. I don't see how she wouldn't have time. Anyway, so he goes, what you got underneath there? She goes, nothing. He goes, see what I mean? You think you can come out here dressed like a hooker and try and... That's how you could try and, like, just change my mind? And she goes, that's not what I was trying to do. She goes, no, she goes, I didn't have time. And he's like, there you go, lying again. He was like, get your ass up against this fence. And he's like raping her. And then we see Mitch in the back of the truck and he sees this. And he does nothing. Now, I was like, okay, because if he would have went up to war and did something, he would have had a death wish. But be a man, like, you really gonna sit there in the back of that truck and watch her be brutally abused like that and you not gonna do nothing? Really? I didn't appreciate, you know, I know I didn't love Mitch, but this is just like, really? I didn't appreciate it. And I kind of, in a way, hope at least he says something to Benny. I don't know. Okay. Then we switch back to the Sarandon. We got Jeffrey. He's at the bar. Like, he's in the bar. He's drinking. This girl comes up. She's with her friend. She's like, oh, he cute. They like, girl, don't. Because they know she drunk. She's like, you two are married. Okay. Let me go over here and talk to him. So she goes over to Jeffrey. Hey, you know, my name's Gabby. Why don't you come over and join us? He's like, I'm not interested. Sorry. Oh, come on. Come over and join us. Look, lady, I'm not interested. I'm sorry. Okay, then, well, forget you. Bah, throws a drink and says, he goes, which, are you crazy? I was so surprised at Jeffrey. I was like, Jeffrey. Like, it was just... And then she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. He's like, yeah, you better be. And her friends come up and grab her. And they're like, I'm sorry, and this, that. And they go, you don't have to be so rude. He's like, no, that would be your friend. He was like, take her drunk ass home. I was like, oh my gosh, Jeffrey is going in. So then the one lawyer was like, you don't have to be such an ASS. He goes, no, that would be your friend. So then the waiter comes up and the bartender comes up and he's like, sorry, Judge. Sorry, Mr. Harrington. She goes, Harrington? He goes, yeah. She goes, I can't talk to you. He's like, what are you talking about? She goes, I'm handling your parents and the Cryers case. I can't talk to you. So then her husband comes up. It's that fake officer creep Justin who's been trying to get with Jeffrey. It's him. That's her husband. Okay, honey, I have to go, but please, I can't talk to him, but please tell him we're very sorry and we'll pay for his drinks and tell him I'm sorry. I can't talk to him. Like, okay, girl, we heard you. And then she leaves. All right, so Justin comes and sits up almost like arm's length from Jeffrey, and he's like, what the heck are you doing here? So then he goes, meet me up in room 1333. Yeah. And don't keep me waiting. No, he goes, you don't know who you're talking to, do you? He goes, don't keep me waiting, and leaves. Okay, so then we switch back to Candace's house. Okay, Benny's there. He's waiting on Candace. We know he came back to talk to her about the baby. So he's out there. She gets out the car. He's like, where are you coming from this late? And she's like, nowhere. Don't worry about it. Did Mitch call you? And he's like, what? You were out with Mitch? And she's like, no, I just maybe thought he might have called you. Oh, okay. Well, I need to talk to you about something good because I need to talk to you too. Okay, they go in the house. And what are you wearing, Candace? She goes, a dress. Stop acting like your mother. And what did he say to her, y'all? Hold on, because this is where my notebook got messy. My bad. It was crazy, y'all. I'll say that much. Okay. Okay, so then he asked her, he's like, okay, listen, okay, forget about the dress. He goes, I'm tired of the lies. Okay, where did you get this money from? She goes, I got the money from Jim Cryer. He's like, oh, really? So mommy was right? He calls her mommy. And there was some fans talking about that, how they thought that it was cool that it came naturally. Like, I guess nobody finds it weird. Like, they said it comes naturally coming from Tyler Lepley. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't mind it though. It's like, okay. So yeah, so then she's like, yeah. So he goes, you blackmail him? She goes, no, he gave it to me. He gave it to you? Come with me. Takes him to the room with the safe in it. Pulls out, I think that was a couple wads of cash, y'all, right? Or a few? Pulls out the picture, bam. Remember when, she bought some people down to kind of dominatrix on them? And so I don't know how else to word it, because I don't. Okay. So yeah, and there's just like a bunch of people with their tongues, I guess, trying to go for his face. So Benny, she gives a picture to Benny. Benny looks at it. Candace, I don't want to see this. What is this? What is this? Okay. So he goes, so you blackmailed him with this picture? She goes, no. He takes care of me because I fulfill a fantasy that he loves and no one else can. So he looking at her like what? Like, I don't understand. He's like, I don't want to hear this. I don't. So he goes, okay, so you're a prost? A streetwalker? So she goes, no. I'm his woman. You're his woman. Okay, well, he's married, so how are you his woman? I didn't say I wanted to be his wife. I didn't say I wanted to marry him. I just, fulfill a fantasy that nobody else can. So then she's like, so he goes, okay, so why do you have this picture? She goes, oh, well, we watch videos too. Do you want to see them? Okay, stop, Candace. She goes, then stop asking. He goes, okay, actually, I came here for another reason. About the baby. He's like, why don't you just give that baby to mom? Come on. No, she goes, where's he at, Candace? Come on, where's the baby? Stop, Benny. Okay, come on. Mama asked me to come back here one more time and try and get you to give it a baby. The answer is no. He goes, okay, well, give him to me then. She goes, no, giving him to you is like giving him to her. And I won't let her do to him what she does. He goes, what you talking about? What's wrong with me? She goes, are you trying to say there's something wrong with me? He goes, I didn't mean that. She goes, what's wrong with me, Benny? He goes, Candace, you've been getting into a lot of stuff. She goes, no, I'm not giving her my child. All right. She goes, but so if you came here for that, you could just leave now. Or we could talk about you and Veronica. She goes, so is there something going on with you, Veronica? She goes, because I've heard some nasty, nasty things. He goes, no. I didn't come here to talk about me. I came here to talk about you. She goes, well, I want to talk about you. Okay, what's going on with you and Miss Veronica? Because that is nasty. So then he's like, I'm leaving. So he leaves. She like, oh, so you quick to get up and leave? And they have their little brother-sister thing. She's like, nasty, nasty things. And he's like, shut up. And then he leaves. All right. Then we switch to Jeffrey in the hotel room. The creepy cop comes in and grabs Jeffrey. What are you doing down there talking to my wife? What are you doing down there? Let go of me. Let go of me. Do you want to go out this window? Do you want to go out this window? Okay, well, we could both go out the window because I don't got nothing to lose. That's Jeffrey. All right. Calm down. Take your hands off me. So he goes, take this drink. So he goes, stop playing these games. The officer puts the drink down. He was like, no, you set that up. You're trying to talk to my wife. He goes, I had no idea. He goes, bull. I'm a cop. I know your kind. Okay, so he goes, all right. Wait a minute. He was like, you don't understand. You're not going to make demands on me. And Jeffrey goes, you seem like somebody who likes demands and promptness and restrictions and punishment. Maybe that's why you married a judge. Creepy cop goes, evaluating me, are you, with no degree? And Jeffrey goes, so you done your homework on me, huh? So you are intrigued by me. So then he's like, I mean, she does seem a little older than you. He goes, don't mention my wife. I'm warning you. All right, I'm warning you. So he's like, have a drink. Okay. And then he's like, what happened to that arrogant cop who was touching me inappropriately and, doing all this, that, and the third? Okay, he was like, look, talking to my wife, you crossed the line and is about to leave. And he goes, your wife, she is pretty though, your wife. So he turns back around. You want me to make you disappear? Do you want me to do that? And then Jeffrey goes, are you done? Because it's just you and me here. So who's all this machismo for? For you? Because if it's for me, I don't need it. All right. He was like, you know what I think about you? I think that you're a creep who hides behind a badge. I think that you were cheap aftershave and something else that I can't say, y'all. I'm sorry. All right. Because I recently learned the definition of it, and I can't. He was like, no, I didn't know this would happen, but since it did, I don't like you. But here we are, officer. And I figured, so then no, he goes, why am I here? He goes, well, first you're going to have this drink, and I think we can help each other. He goes, help each other. How? Cut to the next scene. We switch to David. He's at the police station, okay, trying to see Jim. The guard calls. DA said, you've already been here once today. Sorry, can't let you in. David pulls out. He goes, I need to see him one time. Once more. He's just like, bam. David pulls out a wad of cash. Okay, here's what I need you to do. Listen, just all you got to do is open the gate and turn around like you ain't have nothing to do with it. Cop goes, all right, meet me around back. So then the guard comes in, undoes Jim's cell, and walks right out. Jim's like, what the heck is going on? Bam, David comes in. Bah, 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 just beating the mess out of kicking him. And that was the last scene, everybody. Jim was beat down. Like, Jim didn't even get a hit. And because remember, he doesn't know that it's Maggie. He thinks that it's Veronica. Okay? And Veronica, I can't with Veronica, dude. I can't with her. You know what? I knew she was mentally unhinged. But this is just beyond unhinged. And I can't with Candace either. Oh my, let me just get this up, y'all, because it's already kind of late. Alright, y'all, thank you for watching. I'll be here next week. It's your girl, J2J. Peace.